Great day today. I think it's quite late in the day, and yeah, um, glad to have every one of us here today. So basically, you're welcome to the Devon and Cornwall user group. I was saying that I'm really glad we finally got to do this header. We talked about it for a long time. It looked like it was not going to happen, but yeah, we finally got it kicked off, and we have every one of you here today. So thank you so much for coming. And you see, we had loads of speakers also register for this session, and we've selected two of them who are here today with us to kind of take us through a couple of topics around automation and making our Power Apps beautiful. So I'm really looking forward to everything that is going to be shared today. I hope you can see my screen. Can you see me? Can you see my screen?
Yes, yes.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, so welcome to this group. And Devon is beautiful, as Heather said. Hopefully one day we'll have one of these events at a beachfront location where we can see the water. And this is really a great time to be having this event. The weather is really perfect and all of that. So very shortly, we are going to be bringing up Asif, who is going to be talking to us about how we can move our apps from clunky to clean, making our apps look beautiful. I forgot to introduce myself. So just about myself, I've been in the Power Platform space for about 5 years now. I was quite active in the Nigerian Power Platform community even before coming over here. I think once I came here, I kind of relaxed at first because I was in school, but now I'm really trying to get back into the community, and I'm really glad that we have this platform here because in this community, one thing that is really helpful is sharing information, sharing what you know. And I think that's why every one of us are here today. We are all experts in our own fields, but it's really nice when we all come together and we learn from each other. So don't really see one person as, oh, this person is a speaker and I'm not a speaker. No, we all have something to share. And as time goes on, we are just going to be learning from one another. If you are with me, can you just give a thumbs up before we bring Ashley up? So if you're here, just give a thumbs up. Awesome. Thanks, Funke. Thanks, everyone. That's brilliant. Yeah, awesome. So, Asif, are you ready?
It's a bit of a surprise. I didn't realize I was be the first person, but okay, I'm ready. I just
Okay, yeah.
wanna let everyone know this is my first ever time being online and doing one of these speeches. So do forgive me if I stutter or if I, get a bit off track or anything like that. Mm, Key, I'll start sharing my screen if that's all right, okay?
Yeah.
Okay, my heart is actually pounding.
Caught you
All
off
right,
guard
go ahead.
there then.
Let's do it, man. Yeah, so yeah, from clunky to clean, that's the title for this talk. So making your power ups look beautiful. So a little bit about me. Thank you for all for being here today. Before we jump into the session, let me share a bit about me and how I got here. My name is Asif Zamir. I'm a power platform consultant focused on building power apps that don't just work, but feel clean, modern, and easy to use. My background, I've been in tech for about a decade. Started off as an IT technician, building PCs, troubleshooting networks, managing servers, the usual stuff. After about 8 years, I felt I needed a shift. I'd been coding on the side for years, mostly websites and design work. So I had a pretty much solid foundation in terms of dev. But even then, I didn't have that one thing I could say I was truly known for. I was a generalist, good at many things, but not known for that one. Then around COVID time, 2020, 2021, I came across the Power Platform. At the time, I was getting bored of doing the same thing every day in my day job, and this seemed like an interesting space to explore. For that company, I ended up building a desk booking app when offices started to reopen, just post COVID. In that little element where we just introduced hybrid. It was a big success as well. The application was, and it was pushed out across the EMEA, and there was talks of it going into the US and Canada. And in all honesty, that gave me clarity. I realized that this is what I want to specialize in: power ups and power platform in general. But not just building power ups. Building power ups that people enjoy using, ones that look clean, work beautifully, and don't feel like something you're forced to use. That's what today's talk is about. I'm going to show you how small layout changes and solid design thinking, all using native tools, can take your apps from clunky to clean. Key. So let's talk about why design even matters in Power Apps. I've seen, and in all honesty, I've built apps that worked fine on paper, but users hated using them. The buttons were there, the data was loading, but people didn't enjoy the experience. What was the result? People avoided using them. They went back to their emails and spreadsheets. They started getting support tickets and complaints. Bad UI means low adoption, no matter how powerful your logic is behind the scenes. But when an app is well designed, clean, clear, and easy to use, things change. Users move through it quicker, they make fewer mistakes, they stop asking for training, they just get on with it. And when it's really well designed, other teams notice. They start asking, who built that? Can we have one like that? Your app starts selling itself. And that's the power of design. It's not decoration, it's how your app earns trust and adoption. This is the same concept over here on the left and right. It's the same logic, same data, no plugins, just different choices. The left is what a lot of apps end up looking like. It works, but it feels rushed, cluttered, and transactional. The right is the same exact thing, but I've applied spacing, layout structure, visual hierarchy, and feedback elements. No one trained me on this. It's just a shift in mindset, containers, spacing, and consistency. With these principles, which I'm going to show you later, if you apply them to your application, you can also build apps like this, no doubt. And what I found is users instantly respond to this. You go from, I guess I have to use this up, to, oh, this actually feels easy to use. That's the real power of design. Yeah. Now that we've seen the impact of design, let's see how we can actually build that kind of experience. These are five core UI UX principles I rely on when designing Power Apps, and they what separate functional apps from delightful ones. We'll break each one down with real examples, with before and afters, and end hopefully on a live build that works, because you know how technology is when on live sessions. It's so important to get these principles right, and anyone can do it. But once you get these right, everything else becomes easier. Adoption, training, and even performance. Okay, let's get into it. First principle, visual hierarchy. Here's a quick before and after, focused purely on visual hierarchy. On the left, you've got everything screaming at the same volume, same font weight, same size, no clear structure. The information is there, but it's hard to know where to start. Now look at the right. It's the same data, but the medicine name has more weight. The stock level pops with clear numbers and progress bar and the progress bar. The supporting details like location and expiry are dialed down, still visible, but not competing for attention. And that's the main thing, competing for attention. This is what hierarchy does. It guides the eye. It tells the user, start here, this matters, now glance here if you need. And when you do this well, you reduce hesitation, errors, and frustration just by being intentional with text styles and layout. What this is called the Hicks law, if anybody's familiar with it. It's fewer, cleaner choices help users act faster. Principle number two, spacing and alignment. This is one of the most overlooked parts of Power Up's design. On the left, everything is fighting for room. There's no breathing space, between elements, icons, icons are crammed in, and the eye doesn't know where to focus. On the right, we've applied proper padding and alignment using layout containers. Each section has space, there's rhythm, and just like that, the app feels cleaner, calmer, and easier to use. No clear control, no, sorry, no new controls, no custom coding, just smart spacing. And you can achieve this as well. And here's the thing, users can't always explain why it feels better. They just know it does. This is why I build every layout in containers. I go crazy on containers, in all honesty. Virtual, I said virtual. Vertical, horizontal, and normal containers. And once you master containers, you can definitely achieve crazy designs far better than what I've done, what I'm showing over here. And I always set my spacing before I even drop any controls in. If your app looks messy, it's probably not your fonts or colors, it's your spacing. So do have a look at that. Consistency, this one's subtle, but is powerful. On the left, you've got an app that doesn't that's mostly there, but things start to feel a bit off. The expired pill is using a script style font. The low stock badge has a different fill, padding, and shadow. The update label is lowercase, smaller, and misaligned. Each little detail by itself doesn't seem major, but together it feels messy. Like different people worked on it, without talking to one another. Now compare that to the right. Unified typography, consistent spacing, status pills that follow the same shape, size, and style. It feels intentional, thought through. And the truth is, users may not consistently notice these differences, but that's the thing, they feel it. That's the thing about consistency. It removes friction altogether. You reduce confusion, speed up navigation, and create trust. And from a dev point of view, it helps you too. Because when you build using reusable components, clear design rules, you spend less time fiddling with alignments and more time shipping. You're not reinventing the wheel every time you create a new application. Consistency isn't just about good design, it's faster delivery and easier maintenance. This one's all about communication. On the left, this card technically tells me what's going on. It says the medicine's expired. It says the stock is low, but everything is just, flat. It's monotone. I have to read and process it. It's easy to skim past. There's no urgency, no visual cue pulling my eye. And on the right, we've turned that same message into a visual feedback. The progress bar immediately shows how close we are to the limit. The expired and low stock pills pop out with color and shape. Even the orange tint on the stock level draws attention. All of this makes the status clear at a glance. No reading needed. That's what good feedback does. It removes doubt. It reassures the user. It guides attention to what matters. And especially in low code apps where users aren't always techie, this kind of visual feedback makes your app feel more alive, responsive, and safe to use. No one wants to use an app that feels uncertain. Visual feedback builds that trust. Hopefully, I've still got everybody's attention. And then this is one of the big ones is accessibility. So by now we've cleaned up the layout, improved the spacing, and added clear status feedback. And you might think we're done, but there's one more thing that separates good design from inclusive design, and that's accessibility. The card on the left looks nice, it's clean, minimal, and follows all the previous principles. But here's the problem, it fails accessibility. The green on white text has poor contrast. If you're colorblind or just looking at this on a washed out screen, you might not even see that stock level or status tags properly. There are no icons, no, in this case there are some icons, but in terms of accessibility, using icons is quite a big thing as well. Um, yeah, so it relies on color and communication, and communicating meaning. So it relies on the color itself communicating. Now look at the right. We've used stronger contrast, added clear icons, and made sure everything is legible for as many users as possible. Because great design doesn't look good, it works for everybody. Try remembering one thing: if it's not accessible, it's not finished. Let's all make that conscious decision that from now on, all our apps, from the very get go, from design, we make them accessible. Okay, so this is the live build. Hopefully, like I said, is technical. So we'll see if you can get through it without any errors. Just gonna create a new screen.
I think you're very brave doing it live. Just to let you know, you
Yeah.
get like 25 extra points for just doing it live because I know it's scary, but I'm sure it's going to work just fine.
Oops. Thank you. Okay. So ideally, you want to be. I'm just gonna share my screen over here. This one. This is ideally what we're going to be building. Just the data card there, this gallery itself. I had some comments on LinkedIn as well, asking how do you make these sort of tablet view gallery items. So we'll make this. If you want to follow along, you can do. But I might go a little bit fast because of time. But like I said, this is recorded, so you can always fall back on it. That's hopefully the end product, just a gallery element. So all of that starts from obviously a gallery, a blank vertical gallery. So we'll be using, we'll set the width to parent, height to parent, and we pop it into the corner by changing the X and Y. So now it's filling up the entire screen. If you were to go for a design like this, you'd have a container on the left and a big container on the right. And then within that, you'll have vertical containers. And then in that vertical container at the bottom, you'll have your gallery. But in this case, we're just making a gallery, hopefully with no issues. Just going to make it a little bit smaller. Sorry, take that back. The reason why that's just full is because there's a wrap count as 1. So it's solely showing 1 data card for this entire gallery. So we'll pop that as 3, so 3 separate columns. So pop in a container. Because these containers come with these drop shadows, you're able to see now that it is coming through. What I'm going to do is just sort the data source out and put my medicine list data table in there. So now you can see there's quite a lot of records that come, but they're not showing any data just yet. So this container, I am just going to max it out. It's not parent width, it is gallery, gallery 6 dot template width. So that is inside the gallery. We've got this template, the box itself inside the gallery. So each item, in essence, you're editing one place, but that reflects to everything else. So this container that we're going to be putting all of our text in and icons and stuff like that in, we want to put vertical and horizontal containers within this. So we want this to fill up the space. So I'm just going to go back, and this is why it needs to go into the gallery template, because that's what you call this little area over here. It's called template. Okay, so gallery 6. No, I'm just going to get rid of this. That's hopefully how it's going to look at the end. Hopefully. template width, and then we do the same with the height. And then this Y, we just put it to 0, so it goes right to the top. As you can see, everything's really like crammed together. So we're just gonna add some padding to the gallery itself, maybe 15 or 20, give it some breathing room. And just gonna put a little bit of background. A tad bit of grey, if I can't get that grey. Yep. And then this container itself is gonna make it white. And it just looks a bit more cleaner. Okay, so that's our foundations laid in essence. So within that, we'll put a container with vertical. Vertical meaning it's gonna have a box at the top, then it's gonna go downwards. Horizontal, obviously, meaning that it's gonna go rightwards across. So again, with that, we'll just make it. Here we can do parent width because it's underneath the container. It's inside the container, so the parent is that container now, the main one. In fact, we'll just do some rewording. This one we'll just call it the name, and just make it about this much for now. I will get rid of the drop shadow. In here, we're going to do a horizontal container. I'm going to show you this bit here. Might be just worth showing this piece. Well, my notes are there. So think of it as this. Just trying to explain while I'm doing it as well. So you have a vertical container there. You have another one here. Another one there. And another one there. So these are your kind of parent vertical containers. And then within them, you'll have some horizontal or vertical ones. So that's your parent ones. Then I'll put some child ones here. So within this vertical container, you'll have this horizontal one. About there. I'm sure you can hopefully figure out the rest. Another thing is that within this name, you have another vertical container. So one there as well. So in essence, just this top over here, it's got the parent container, which is the light blue. Then it's got a horizontal container, which is the dark blue. And then within this middle one, we got a horizontal one. So we'll just be working on that. And each one of them is kind of made up of all these containers within containers. So you'll have the parent main container. Within that, we've got vertical, and then sometimes a bit confusing. And then we've got the horizontal, and then we've got the inside that we've got a vertical. But yeah, we'll crack on. I just wanted to show you that, visualize that. Hopefully that hasn't confused you. So what did we say? We had, so we've done the blue one. This one we've done that. Now we need to add a dark blue, which is a horizontal container. And then we're just gonna do make it as wide as possible. And in here we have our vertical sorted. Pop in the checkbox in there without any text. Yeah, and then we've got the vertical container for the name and the medicine. So that's this piece here, the pink one. Sorry if I'm losing you. So we'll keep flexible on. We can work with flexible. So that just shows, because there's two items inside this container, which one has more superiority than the other, which one gets more space. So we'll be, I'll make that last one, then we'll add the flexibility in there. So I'm just going to put a button at the very end. Make sure that's got flexible on, so it also, yep. The reason why that's coming off is because the minimum width is set to 160. So no matter what this flexibility is, it has to have that 160. So I'll just pop that to about 30. In fact, I could just take that off completely, and then that will make sure that it's relying on just the fill portion up here. So I'll take that minimum width off as well. So now, as you can see, they're all equal. So we need to make sure this name's got the biggest. So we'll put 2 in there. We'll see how that looks a bit more. As you can see, this is growing, the fill portion, because there's more. It kind of splits it into like ratios. 5, that should do it. And then the height on this is a bit too much, so we'll just cancel the minimum height. And because this is selected, the stretch is selected, that's aligned to the container itself. So it's making sure that it's within this parent container. This button, we'll just take the text off, icon only, and we'll go for the 3 dots, which are here. Then go for transparent. As you can see, there's the shadows are there, so we'll just take those drop shadows out. That's for that container there. Now, in essence, we've got our parent container. Within that, we've got our vertical container, which we'll be adding to at the bottom. And then within that, we've got the horizontal container over here. I think that's probably a better way to show it there. And then in the vertical container, we've got 3 components there, of which there is a vertical container too. So now in this one, we'll just put the text itself in the medicine name. In fact, I'll just put that in there. Because we're in the gallery, I can just click on this item medicine name. Pop the font size a bit bigger. Oops, 52. It's about 18 should do it. Then, as you can see, that's not wide enough, so we'll just swap the width through the parent width. Make it bold. And then if I copy this and paste it in, you'll see that it's coming right below it because of this vertical container, my bad. And then we just put in the category for that, which is medicine. This is the part where we're talking about the visual hierarchy. The name is the main thing in this regard, because we obviously know that the medicines, there could be injections, we could even go down a category, a subcategory. but that's irrelevant. So we'll make sure that there's more focus on the register name itself. So by doing that, well, to do that, we'll just put that on medium and lower the size a bit. So about that much. So now the focus is there. I just want to put the register name up a bit. You might also see that it's really pushing to the top. So we'll just go to our parent container and put a padding at the top for about 20, hopefully. Oh, it's not on that, sorry. Where is it? Yeah, I think it's on this one here. Yeah, so that's just the vertical container inside the main one. Okay. It's just messed up a bit. We're just gonna minus. We'll just leave it that for now. I just don't want to take too much time on it. It's more just alignment and stuff. That should do it. There's an outline there which is bugging me a little bit, but we should be okay. Hopefully. Yes, it's here. There you go. Okay, so that's the top part basically done. Ideally, you'd want to make this container the right height. Can't think. I won't spend too much time on that. And then we can start making the next piece, which is the stock level over here. So what we'll do is we'll just copy this container and paste it in the main parent container up here. That's probably not a good shout. Actually, technical issues. In fact, we'll just leave that as it was, and then just put a horizontal container in there. And the parent gallery bit. But I'm doing it all manual here, but you could you could just create these heights and make it all flexible if you needed to. But for the sake of time, I'll just keep it manual over here. And that is and if you accidentally changed obviously if you created a don't keep saying vertical container, but it was supposed to be horizontal, you can always change it over here in the properties. So in that, we'll just put text. I'm just going to copy it from here. Just conscious of time. Not sock. Look. Give it a padding of 20. And this isn't. Yeah, in this case, I did make this wrong. So it is. What did I? So flexible. Make this flexible. It's better. When you can't find that one thing, where's there? There we just change that to this item dot block level. Yep. And then maximum level is 600. If you want to put some text and then some dynamic information, you can just do it like that. So speech marks and. Okay, with this, I'll push it more on the angle. Take the flexibility off on this and just manually put it for the sake of time. And you just play around with the font and stuff on that side. And then we've got the level itself. So we'll just close this up a little bit. I'm just going to copy it and paste it there and put the gallery, sorry, parent width on it. In there, we will put a container. Hopefully people are following, or have they gone to sleep? No? Okay. Heather's nodding. Thank you. This parent container, I'm just going to change the color to some sort of light gray. Put some padding to the left and right. So that's gonna. Then you would. That's like how you would create the bar itself. And then you put a rectangle in the middle, like a shape, and that's what you'd code up to match the stock level. It's also 0, and the width and height would change depending on the calculation between these two numbers. Again, for the sake of time, there's only 15 minutes left. I will just, what I'll do is, this should hopefully show you the element of like the fact that we've got containers. Inside that we've got horizontal containers. We've got vertical containers within horizontal to create this sort of look. Same thing over here. We've got inside this vertical, we've got these horizontal ones. That's how you kind of like bring everything together. You can push that over there. And then what I'm going to do is I'll just show you this. Again, sorry, I do apologize for the sake of time, but I'll probably make a video on it just so I can break it down in good time. It's different doing it on live, and obviously things don't go to plan and stuff. So So this is a cleaner look. Actually, I'll just show you in that. I should be naming all my containers and all that, but forgive me. I'll probably need to go back and make all this accessible as well, because all of these, I'm pretty sure they do come up on your accessibility. Yeah, they do. So yeah, just make sure your accessibility is not on 130, it's on 0. Thank you, Heather. So yeah, in this case, like I say, we've got our main container. Within that, we've got these vertical. I'm just gonna close it up so I can show you properly. Now I've lost it. Yeah, even the entire screen itself is all made up of vertical and horizontal containers. Once you get the gist of that, you'll and a bit of spacing and the hierarchy of what comes first, then what information doesn't need to be shouted at the very what's the main information that people require from this application that needs to be explained first and shown to first through the use of colors and text fonts and all this sort of stuff, and the strength of text, not overloading your application with too many colors as well. Yes, subtle colors here and there. You can see that there are quite a handful of custom colors on this, but there's nothing like crazy that out, that's shouting and screaming at you. Everything does flow within the application itself. The only very shouty color is this blue one over here. That's just a button, a main button, just to show, or just to kind of let you know that this is an active button. Whereas maybe in this scenario, there's a lot of medicine being added. If there weren't much medicine being added and it was all just about managing medicine, then I wouldn't put this as as bright as it is. Probably just put it as same as this, because same with the export and analytics, it's not always um, being used. So like I said, it's all just containers within containers. We have even with the icons as well. We have it's horizontal, and then we got the text itself. Even at the bottom over here, what you can achieve with something exactly like this. This is just one example, but then I've got this example as well, where it's just an IT asset management app that I was working on today. So this also follows the same suit, similar build, but I've done quite a lot of extra work on this one just to add the the fact that you can edit and you can upload images and stuff like that as well. You can delete with some little nice pop-up boxes. And then same with the plus button. You can just add new products, add new assets, and manage them. And you got a bit of a count. And even with the icons, with the pill icons, you can easily determine what's in stock, what's not, and the status of the application of the products itself. Okay, that is that. I'm just gonna see if there's anything else on my spreadsheet, on my presentation, before I hand it back. Lost my notes. Okay, so that was the data card live mini build. I do apologize, it wasn't complete, but my main objective of this was just to mainly explain to you that you can design good apps by merely the containers, by going crazy on the vertical and horizontal, and then the main container itself as well, with good spacing and all this sort of stuff. With the principles that we just talked about, if you stick to these core design principles, the visual hierarchy, spacing alignment, consistency, feedback and status, and accessibility, there's no doubt that you can take apps from this to this. So that's something that we should be able to do. 5 key things to remember. I've just literally gone over this right now. So these are the 5 principles that turn basic data form into a high clarity, high velocity app users actually want to use. So do try to keep all your applications from design itself. So that's the main thing. So, yeah, meaning from design, meaning that from the very get-go, before any piece of code is implemented, any like containers even put on to the application itself, to the canvas, you're making sure that this is taken into consideration. Maybe if you're developing, if you're a consultant or a developer who's building apps and you've got customers, or you got a user base, a team, then it's always best to reach out to them, ask them, okay, what are the main things that this application is used for? It should be part of the requirements gathering itself, just to make sure that you're also understanding the design element, not just the requirements. Because if you only focus on requirements, you will end up, there's no distinct difference between this and this, because on the left, it is definitely grabbing all the information. If this meets the requirements, the one on the left, it does tick the box. The fact that we can see the stock level, we can see the status and the department, all this sort of stuff. But it's about taking it up to a whole new level by beyond just the requirements as monotone as they are. So yeah, like I said, an app like this will definitely tick the box, but your delivery could look like this as well, and it just makes the entire experience for the end users far better. Like I say, it's not just about it being pretty; it's the whole user base end of it as well, where you can easily get more work from it. Your applications look like SaaS products, so people are familiar with this sort of application. You think about Salesforce or applications of that nature. They look, hopefully they look like on this sort of level or even beyond this. Take inspiration from websites like Dribble. So that's Dribble with, I think, 3bs.com. There's a lot of things from there that you can look into in terms of applications that other people have developed, just screenshots, and from there you can think about, okay, what sort of navigation would I like, what sort of data cards, what sort of pills are there, all these even filters. There's all sorts of cool things that we can extract from there, just for inspiration, not for copying, but more for inspiration. But yeah, just keep these 5 things remembered, and there's definitely, thank you, Heather. You're able to definitely take your apps to a whole new level. So, like I said, I've been building Power Apps for a number of years now. Design solutions that are clean, scalable, and user friendly. What's new for me, like I said at the beginning, is sharing this process publicly. So I've got a lot of content in the pipeline. I am wanting to um, share a lot and do a lot of videos. Hopefully, the good thing about video editing is that we can take out all the stuttering and pauses and all this sort of stuff, and all the bad things. And hopefully, I can start creating some sort of good videos that are practical and easy to follow, explaining this in more detail and giving more UI tips along the way. Create like components and stuff like that, real like client builds type of thing. Well, concept client builds. If you're looking to level up your Power Apps game, or just want inspiration, grounded from real world delivery, I'm obviously working with Trustmark. We're doing some amazing things with our customers, and then through that, I'm learning a lot as well. So yeah, please, if you can scan the QR code, follow me on LinkedIn. I think Heather's sent a link in the chat as well. So appreciate your time. Thank you very much.
Wow, let's put our hands together for Asif. That was an amazing session.
That was really
Great
good.
job, Asif. Yeah, that was really good. And as Heather said, Asif, you went for the hard mode, and and you
Yeah,
delivered. Yeah, you delivered on it. Well
yeah,
done. Because as much as it was kind of rough, but we saw you literally go from a blank screen and you started shaping out that fancy UI. So that was really amazing, and it lets us know that yes, it's actually possible, and it doesn't take too much effort. Yeah, obviously it takes more time than the, just let's just get the basics in. But as you've pointed out, in terms of the user experience, they get more from the system when it's something that they are happy to work with. So that was amazing. Thank you so much, Asif. So on this session, do we have any questions? There was a link that we put in the chat. If you have any questions, I've not seen any pop in, and feel free, you can unmute yourself you can turn on your camera to ask your question. We are here together to learn at the end of the day. So if you have any questions, I have a question, Asif. I have two questions.
Oh no.
So when it comes to colors, you talked about colors where you had a couple of colors. A lot of times when I try to design stuff, I try to keep it safe, and maybe I just stick with monotone. And but I've realized when you play with colors, the more you get more emotion out of the system. But how do you decide what colors to, colors that works together? Because from what you've shown, you have a lot of colors, but they all work together. They're not really fighting. So how do you do that?
I came across this website. S- some of this stuff, it comes naturally in terms of like what's one thing to actually think about is like the same hue of color. So making sure that I'm just gonna quickly share my screen and see if I can show it rather than just explain it. Might be just hopefully a little bit better. Sorry. You can ask the question if you want while I'm sorting this out.
Okay.
Hopefully it's
So
not.
the other one is more like a performance question. With Canvas apps, when it comes to having controls, you want to be conscious of that. But I've seen myself when using containers sometimes, it's almost like I'm going crazy with it. And you mentioned that too. So can you actually go crazy with containers? Can you have too many containers?
From what I've seen and it doesn't seem like it's very high intense in terms of performance. That could be different in terms of like bigger apps, but in the concepts I've made and the work I've done previously, with does have some decent amount of data as well. I've had no issues in terms
Performance
of that.
issues.
Yeah, I haven't had any. It's more around the data coming in, and you can be smart about data coming in. You can it's all about delegation, as you know, as well. So trying to get that calculation, trying to get all the information or any sort of heavy lifting done on the data end, so on Dataverse itself or on SharePoint itself, to clean all the data from there and then bring it in cleanly. So
Yeah.
through the use of views and all this sort of stuff as well. Yeah.
Okay.
Uh,
Awesome.
right. With the color palette, I did come across with, I can't remember what it
Yeah.
was, but I will show you this this other website. This is more on like accessibility.
Okay.
So this one is if you look at this, the A's at the top left there. I still see it's a 12.72 score, which is a pass across all sizes. And obviously, if I just change that, it's still a pass at the right. At this moment in time, that is more or less invisible. It's very hard to see. There might come a point where, like, at this point, we might think that okay, that's fine, we can see that because it's quite big, but it still fails at the smaller letters. So this is something I definitely use in terms of checking the text against the background and how colors actually match and if they work well together or not. So you can put the hex codes in there or the RGBs there as well. That's one website I definitely would advocate for. I will look for the other website I'm trying to explain. That one you can give it colors and it basically creates that website,
Like
but just
a
changes
panel.
those few colors
Yeah.
around. Um, and it can show you an application or website using those colors, and naturally you'll be able to see if those actually do go well together or not. But I'll put that in the in the chat.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks so much, Asif. Thanks for
No worries.
all the
Thank you.
knowledge you've shared today. That's brilliant. So we'll be bringing up the next speaker shortly, and just a little info about what our speaker is going to be talking about. I'm going to share my screen here. 1 second. And we'll be bringing up um, I we'll be bringing up Srinivas, who is going to be talking about, from manual chaos to automated clarity, paper to power, empowering non-tech teams. So I see a lot about automation coming from this session. So really looking forward to this session. Over to you. Oh, you're on mute. Oh, hi, Srini. You're on
Yep.
mute.
Hi.
Oh,
Sorry.
yeah, awesome.
Yeah. I'm actually using two different screens because my laptop doesn't
Oh,
support like more of like the camera thing.
okay.
Yeah. And hi everyone. So like again, thanks Asif. Like that was really insightful because personally I myself haven't gone deeper into the apps perspective where my focus is all more into like the automation side. Yeah, but I'm just trying to like explore more on the apps, just trying to build more apps. Yeah, I'm just sharing my screen. Yep. Uh, yeah, and before I start, I really thank Coyote and Heather for organizing this event. And for me as well, this is like a very first virtual event. I'm connecting and presenting my ideas. Just a short brief about me. I don't belong to the Power Platform community for years and all. So I am basically from performance testing and performance engineering background. I got around like 9 years of experience in there, and I moved to the UK. And right now I'm working as a team lead in a non-technical, like say like a it's basically a food warehouse, and I did had a lot of cross collaboration opportunities where I connected with health and safety departments to restructure and organize their SharePoint, ShareDrive, and all the Power Platform utilities. Yeah, is my screen visible?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, fine. So yeah, to start with, first thing I wanted to like mention is that like most of the enterprise level organizations and businesses do have an enterprise or a business subscription of Microsoft 365, and but then like to be precise, like there are these are kind of uh, people are using the M365 in terms of Outlook, Teams, Forms, Drive, yeah, as a OneDrive, as a storage has been like massive compared to those who have been utilizing Power Platforms. Yes, obviously Power Platform is growing like exponentially, but then the overall percentage is actually like just like 14% of the entire 365 group. And another main point I need to bring forward is that even though we have got a low code tools within our access itself, but still without since we don't have very much deep knowledge and insights on how to utilize the make use of the tools, we most of the organizations go for a third party apps and third party companies for solving problems within their organizations. This presentation for me, I would more focus into the large scale warehouses and non-technical areas where there are a lot of paperworks and a lot of manual handlings being there. Like and yes, and the second thing is that like why I'm saying it is underutilized is because like I mentioned before, we more of like we the moment we go with Microsoft 365, we only go with like Outlook Teams, like the OneDrive for just like saving all our folders on the cloud, and like Forms and other very like limited resources we actually use it. all the power tools, we actually don't use it because I think I would say like lack of knowledge on that area, because skill set is something I wouldn't be saying, as this is basically a low code tool which anyone can actually use once they start to explore. Uh, the high level On a higher level, the apps that I specifically mentioned, which has been underrated, is that like the power apps, comparing to the overall usage of the power 365 of Microsoft 365, is that like the power apps which Asif like demonstrated us, like the power automate, which is actually an automation workflow that can potentially convert your manual process of reaching out to the teams and getting things kicked off manually. We can actually automate it completely. And SharePoint in the sense, we actually use SharePoint just for storing like data sets, storing files, folders, and things on a major level. There are a lot more features that SharePoint have got. We even can use it as a backend for all these, to connecting all these resources. Teams and Outlook are very common that we use, but still we can utilize a lot more features inside. Power BI is something that we can actually use it for visualizations and analytical presentations, where we can go deep with bulk. Say you got around like 5 years of data, which you need to drill down to a lot of root cause analysis, where things have gone failed, or what is the profit or loss margins that we have been, like where exactly are we, instead of somebody going into like each and every file, analyzing every data. Use of Power BI would reduce a lot of efforts and hours, to be precise. And the last one is the Power Virtual Agent, which like with the use of Copilot, we can actually do apps which helps like completely non-technical person to chat with, probably like a normal, to have a normal conversation with 24/7 access. Uh, Yep. And on a higher note, like I mentioned before, like this is basically, we have got a low code front end, which gives more access to both technical and non-technical executives and staffs who can actually try the applications. And the another one is like the orchestration layer and data management, where the orchestration with basically what I mentioned is like the Power Automate, where we automate things, and a lot of API connections to other open source, like say for a ChatGPT or a agentic AI. So we can actually integrate all the AI components inside the automate flow as well, which makes it even more efficient in terms of effective workflow. And when it comes to data management, we've got like Dataverse, which is a database that's been already available, and Power BI for, like I said, for visualization and insights, and SharePoint, where we can actually manage all the documents with giving them meta tags, giving them like structures and authors. We can list like whatever details we actually wanted to do. Just for an illustration, we can go with an use case scenario where reporting of a safety incident, say that on the floor level, shop level, if we have an incident, say like somebody have got hurt, or somebody have haven't like followed the safety precautions, and there were some minor accidents or major accidents being happened, on the shop floor, there can be an easy way where the entire safety process can be like performed. So from safety floor to health and safety team and to compliance officer, we don't have to manually ring them or like keep following up on this, on any incidents that's happening. We can actually track it, and like we can actually use triggers and other automation flows, which gives an easy and quicker access to respond for any incidents, which reduces like the accidents or any safety concerns. And Yeah, so like I mentioned before, yeah, Asif have actually showed a better version of creating Power Apps. I really appreciate his idea on bringing this into it, because one complex issue that most of us like feel building Power Apps is that like how to make it more like simple and neat, which gives it a wider audience to not to feel like, okay, this is something technical and I wouldn't be able to learn it quicker. And yeah, so this would be one small example like that I was speaking about, the safety incident reporting, basically a power automate workflow, where we use like triggers in terms of submission of forms and calculation formulas in terms of calculating the risk scores, and the conditional branching, where to do actions, whether to, like, in case if this is happening, whom to reach out; if this is not happening, if this person is not there, whom exactly is the next person. We can actually detail those controls. And parallel approval, say if there should be like a document and SOP that should be signed off by both the warehouse, like the supply chain manager, and the health and safety team manager, then it need not necessarily be like carried out by a person going to and writing a mail, or going in person to both of them and spending a lot of time. Instead, we can actually trigger this automation flow, which immediately sends to the concerned person for approval, and also gives back a notification once things have been like approved. Yeah, now I'm coming into the actual scenario which I was planning to explain. So, which is basically like bringing paper activities to Power Platform, which empowers the non-technical teams as well. One major challenge when we use that we have in terms of any warehouses or like mass supply chain organizations is that there are like so many paperworks that are involved, which kills a lot of time, which they can actually use it more efficiently and productively in other activities, in which builds the efficiency more. So, and when it comes to paperworks, there are so many drawbacks. I'm not saying there is no drawbacks when you use the technology. Obviously, there are like certain drawbacks using the technology as well. Comparing not using it and usage of the technology, like I would say these are like few issues that have been like happening on a wider range with respect to the SOP approvals. Basically, SOP is safety operation procedure, which is been tracked and carried out in any organization when it comes to health and safety. And this is more essential and critical because the first thing that any organization would have responsible is the workplace safety and the product safety. These are two essential things that any organization that's been running currently. So taking actions on how to improvise the process is on these kind of standards. So setting standards are really essential. uh, yeah, so like one common issue is that like the communication which you need to do, like keep on tracking and keep on reaching out to the manager senior levels and like the floor level operatives. So it takes too much of resources and too much of hours to keep tracking, but still there would be there is a zero visibility where we couldn't track any process if there is but the concerned person is not available. Say somebody is working today and tomorrow they are not coming in, and you would go blank on what's the current status unless they keep writing emails for a longer run, which again a time taking process. And there are a lot risk of compliance issues where when it comes to humans, human errors obviously occur. So in order, like considering all these factors in mind, we are not going to uh, the proposal is actually not to go for a third party or a new technology or implementing something that's not in the use case. Instead, the proposal is actually like making you best use of the existing and available resources which we already have. So I think many organizations who's having like the Office 365 would definitely have access to like the Power Apps, all the Power features. only certain organizations who are on a small scale wouldn't be having those access. Obviously, like the power apps isn't going to cost so much if we are considering the organizational efficiency. And coming back, these are the certain business risk that I personally understood by networking and collaborating with the health and safety teams. The major thing is that like we had to chase the paperwork that actually that actually need to be improved, so that we have a better safety in the workspace. That's been that was from the health and safety manager. And yeah, that is the actual problem. So doing too much of paperwork just for a false alarm is like isn't going to be like uh, a positive thing that's happening on a warehouse which have mass production. And one to have an example, say we have a false recently last week there was a false alarm being triggered because an operative just pressed the button by mistake, and because of that we lost almost 20 30 minutes of almost I think it was around like 550 resources on the entire warehouse. Like considering the labor cost, considering the operational cost, that's a huge loss for the day. And and after this 30 minutes, there was another like 2 to 3 hours in a lot of paperwork and like chasing out, connecting to the teams and bringing back things to normal. So this 2 hours could have definitely been saved if we actually. I'm not just talking about one organization. I'm talking about like over a lot more warehouses and lot more non-technical organizations and offices where we can actually save a lot of time and human efforts. Uh, yep. And moving forward, the first thing that we would start with in any automation flow is the storage of the documents. And in this perspective, the SOP workflow, SharePoint is the key where we actually store all the documents. One advantage is that we can actually tabulate the documents with the columns that we actually wanted. Say, for example, who's the author, who created it, how what's the priority, is it like high, medium or low, and what's the status of it, is it like approved, not approved, or still under approval process. And there are few conditions. We can actually tabulate the entire documentation. It's not like we just have to like keep the documents like OneDrive. So that's one major advantage. And another thing is that we can use metadata driven automations where we actually feed my metadata, like meta tags for the particular document, say whether it's an SOP or it's a proposal or it's actually like proof of conduct. All we can categorize these documents based on the tags. Yeah. Um yep. So on a like high level, these are the 4 steps that we actually followed. So first was like the document creation, where we basically upload the SOP document in the SharePoint, which is the source that that the Power Automate pulls and process it. Second is the approval chain. That's where Power Automate comes in to automate the entire workflow. Number 3 is the data storage. Basically, all the approvals and the logics. That's what we use. Like the data is an database that the Power itself provides. And the last thing is the reporting. So like having a dashboard is really essential, which basically gives us a good picture on like say like how many are in non-compliance, how many SOPs have got like expired, instead of manually seeing all the tabulations and going through one by one. It's better to have a proper reporting dashboard which gives us a proper visualization and clear and clean, to be precise. And breaking down it, so here is the workflow that we actually followed out. The first thing, the training academic person or the health and safety officer first uploads the SOP document, and these documents comes from various places. One is the training academy, the other one is from the floor managers who actually uh, deal with the entire team and handling all these things. In terms of food warehouse, we have multiple departments. Say it starts with planning department, then we will have a place where we actually the production happens, the other place where the packaging happens, and the last place where the dispatch and delivery happens. These are four major stages of any organization that deals with warehousing and manufacturing. So it basically comes with the SOP document basically comes from various manager level personals regarding usage of an how to safely use this particular instrument, how to use this particular machineries. So these instructions will be moved forward to the training department to train the staffs, the operative levels, the floor level operatives, so that they don't fall under any accidents or any safety concerns. So this is basically very much essential to ensure that the floor floor operatives do understand what's the safety procedures on workspace. This reduces a lot of uh, uh, I would say yeah, on an organization level, the safety is very much essential because that's a key factor. It's always about the people and not about the product alone. And for the operatives, they come to work, so most of the operatives wouldn't have too much of knowledge technically. So it's only when we keep training them on see, this is like, and this is how we have to use it. Unless we don't give a better clarity, there would be a lot of accidents and chaos happening on the floor, which is again going to affect the shop production and all the overall efficiency of the organization. And yeah, so from these various sources, once they upload the documents on a SharePoint. So yeah, to add to this, previously how it works is there will be one team who quickly goes and gathers all the documents which is paper printed, and brings in, documented, and then takes it every time and keeps training it. And every time there is something new or some revision happens, they again follow up a safety procedure that the team goes to the production manager, gets the SOP, goes to the health and safety. This SOP goes to the health and safety team first, and then it goes parallelly. It goes to the overall supply chain manager. From there, it goes to the concern managers. Only after all these approvals, the SOP would be ready for the training department to train these staffs. So I think this workflow, if it's going to be manual, it's going to take so much of hours of time in just getting the SOP ready to train the staff. This is how it happens before, and now after using the SharePoint and all these automation features, we literally, I would definitely say any organization would literally save minimum 4 to 5 hours in a day, which is 50% of the work efficiency, uh, considering one particular department's work. So those departments obviously they can focus more on the other activities, like how to improvise the workflows and things that would really help them to focus on the other perspectives of the businesses. So yeah, this is just the start of the process. Step one is basically we get the SOPs uploaded on the SharePoint. Number two is metadata classification. Once it's uploaded, two things happen. One is manually giving tags, for example, whether it's what exactly this SOP mentions. Is it going to be like an high risk level or medium risk level, or is something like a low risk level? And which department is it from? Is it coming from planning, or is it coming from the production? Is it coming from packaging, or is it coming from dispatch? So these meta tags can be manually fed. In the SharePoint, we have got two actions. One is edit in grid mode, when we click on edit in grid mode, we will have access to, it just acts like a basic Excel table. We can actually edit it. Once we are done editing, once we are done tabulating, we can just like exit it so that it becomes a proper application. We also have the customized access where like we got the control of giving access to, okay, this person can actually view the document, this person can actually edit this particular site. SharePoint gives a good level of access controls. And moving forward, the first stage is the multi-stage approval. Like I said before, each document will go to the concerned teams and concerned leadership teams, where it waits for an approval and waits for a feedback. Once those approvals are completed or a feedback is coming back, and then it sends a notification. So for example, let's take a basic SOP of um, to have an example. Yeah, we can take an example of handling a basic uh, knife. Yep. So, obviously, like using knife isn't like too much technical or something that need to be taught, but still being a business, it's very much essential to make sure how to handle knife, because it's again like too much of safety concern. Anything sharp objects would definitely have a risk of harming like people around, like getting cut or like bleeding issues. There are so many things that happen. So in that, like wearing a glove, using a knife, that wearing appropriate PPEs are like very much are like high level of focus. Number two, medium level, I would say, the knife's expiry, like sharpening the blade, that would be like a medium level. And low level is just like the label on knife, on say like how much length it is, or like what's the weight of the knife, the label that shows the detail, that would be a low level. I'm just giving an example. I'm not exactly trying to say like, okay, this is what this is and this is what this is. Just to consider, like differentiate what's the like levels: high, medium and low. That's it. So this SOP goes to the leadership team, and it gets approved, or it stays on their mailbox. So once they receive a notification on Teams and Outlook, they the concerned person would say yes or no, approved or not approved, and give a feedback. And again, it triggers back to the like document owner, SOP document owner, and they will be able to see like, okay, if this is something needs to be corrected, something needs to be updated, they would update and send it back. If not, they and if it's approved, then they still get a notification that this particular document is approved. That's it. So one thing, what's the efficient way is that using the Power Automate, we don't have to manually go track, okay, where is this document signed or not? Let me email this person. I would need nothing. So we only need to upload the document in the SharePoint. And once the SharePoint receives a new document coming in, obviously the Power Automate triggers, okay, there is a file upload. It's been tagged to SOP. So let me send it to a multi-stage approval first, and send the necessary notifications through Teams and Outlook. So once there are certain conditions, say like this SOP is valid for 1 year or 1 month. So every year we don't have to keep tracking and tracking and tracking. So that's where Power Platform brings in a lot of efficiency stuffs. So at the end of the year, it's going to throw up a reminder that this document is going to expire. Kindly review and re-approve it, so that it can be like reused for this year as well. Because when it comes to health and safety audit, so there are like certain conditions where the teams go like if the auditing officer is going to ask, okay, where is this particular training document, or where is this exactly this document approved, it's definitely going to take like 2 to 3 hours minimum. Or they're going to like say like, okay, let me give it to you end of the day, if in case it's going to be like fully of paperwork and all the manual handling things. But then with this, with a SIF audit or any like safety audits, we don't have to keep wait for longer times, and it's just like matter of minutes or seconds, which we can actually pull the data from the system and show it to them. This again creates a very good transparency and trust for the auditing officers to be confident, okay, this particular product, like this particular organization is following all the safety and safety measures properly. So that again adds value to the business, and making all the audits and other operations much simpler and faster. It doesn't take too much of time. And moving forward, once this SOP document has been approved, and then it moves to the training assignment. Training assignment is where the trainers get to get a confirmation that, okay, this particular SOP is live, so this is ready to be trained for, okay, these are the operatives that are handling the knife, and we can actually train them in person. That document will have a lot of uh, that's basically the procedure they need to, anyone working with the knife, like to be followed. So with this particular with doing this training and having this documentation ready, uh, the organization or the concerned teams can be confident and sure, okay, this person have been trained on this, so in case an accident is happening, it means either the person have not been trained, if not, they haven't followed the safety measures properly. That gives a good leverage when it comes to the accidents. Yeah, speaking about the key blocks of the Power Automate structure, there are triggers. For example, triggers are basically giving giving input to the system, like say, okay, this particular document has been like uploaded, or this form has been submitted. These are triggers. Or we can even have a manual button, say like run the approval flow. So there are multiple triggers that can be used. And second is the conditions and logic, which is basically having like an if else condition, what to do if the things doesn't happen, what to do if things happen, and switch cases, and error handling, which basically like say, in case if this person is on leave, or this document have like isn't like on a proper structure, on a proper format, so what exactly to be done. For example, if the document uploaded is not going to be a PDF for a presentation, and it's just simply going to be like a web page or a JPEG image, then obviously the it's going to throw an error. So when it throws an error, it automatically triggers the owner to upload a document in a PDF or presentation format, which is more relatable, editable version. So yeah, this is one example for error handling. And next is for loop. This is basically yeah, the conditions and logic is basically like basic computation things, that if else conditions, for loops, while loops, all those things. And the third is data operations, like SharePoint being the source, like say like the backend. Sorry. Yep. Yeah, the data operations, where we basically like uploading on a document and giving them a meta tag, or initialize, or any particular command. Okay, this particular person will be tagged, he's the business owner, or giving them a date of expiry, which obviously updates the next column, the date of when it's supposed to be like renewed. And also like the advanced control is basically that to give them like a timer, say like delayed actions, or like any external request to pull on. So to trigger, say for example, we had to use an uh, AI block or AI node, we can actually use code level, and we can trigger it so that it gives an even more clear picture. I wouldn't go deeper into advanced control, because it's something like um I think like 40 or 50%. I would say 60% of the process, the SOP process, wouldn't be needing such things, because the main focus is to automate the flow of approvals, and reducing like the efforts. Yeah. And the next part would be like the dashboards and impacts. Once this approval process is done, like obviously if it's going to be like an hundred SOPs, or like more than like things, so we keep scrolling and scrolling and scrolling. to track how many SOPs are in progress, how many SOPs are things. So here is where Power BI comes in. Like to visualize these, it's basically like higher end version of Excel. I wouldn't. Obviously, there are features more. The Power BI features are more similar in Excel and Power BI. Like the major difference comes in on handling data. Uh, this is basically an example where we can see the graph, high level of okay, where are we, how many SOPs in terms, or like what's the actual number of non-compliance activities and things. And the third part is like the Power Virtual Agents. Virtual agents, the reason why we use is to build apps that can interact with the non-technical persons or operatives. Say, for example, when an operative comes in, so he just have to put his like mention his ID, the clock number. Like once he feed in, the system will obviously know like this person where he is working and what are all the training and certification he needs to be completed and essential PPEs he actually need. So can act as a front end of any warehouse, which basically ensures okay, this person is going in with proper PPEs, proper trainings, which means less accidents, less risk procedures. This sounds simple, but then without using such confirmations, without using only with just manual process, there are cases where sometimes like some people might be not being given awareness on the risk inside the organization. Sometimes there are certain conditions where operatives don't follow the PPE usage, and some of them don't have a proper training. And allowing these kind of operators or like these kind of people to work is not just risk for the company, but the risk for them as well. Risking a life just for a simple job isn't a good choice. So these are the things that we can. So what exactly we did is we did a chatbot using virtual agent, which basically gives the health and safety department to understand okay, how many, like instead of just with the Power BI dashboards, this would be like more precise, asking the chatbot okay, how many SOPs are in progress, is there any safety concerns, how many actions, how many incidents have happened within this particular department, how many accidents have happened, how many near accidents, potential risk have been like happened. All these things just the bot can actually feed in. And again, this is basically a low code development site. The virtual agents, we can use the agentic AI features. I would be interested in taking another session later, which focus more on the virtual app development. So yeah, this is basically an illustration. Since any organization wouldn't prefer somebody showing up their health and safety perspective screens or any documents, so I have just generated a couple of images which helps to understand clearly. Say like this is example. Say if somebody is going to ask like is there, what's the PPE that I need to wear, request PPE or safety equipment, it's going to say like okay, this is the PPE you need, do you have it or you need it. So if they say like they need it, it immediately sends a notification to the concerned team that this person is waiting for this particular PPE as they don't have it. Yeah, moving to the real world scenarios. Yeah, so this is the overall picture. Any questions as of now?
So do we have any questions? No, I guess not.
Okay, I think is everyone there? Like,
Yeah, if you're here, give a
Yeah,
thumbs
we're
up.
here.
Yeah,
Yeah,
loving it.
thank
uh,
you. Yeah.
thank you so much. Yep, and it's not just about the health and safety as well. There are other departments in health and safety, supply chain, human resource, customer experience. Wherever we have got like too much of paperwork and a lot of uh, manual processes happening, we can still make use of this features which we already have. The only thing we might need is to hire somebody who have got like on skill set on the expertise, and just to let them understand the business. That's it. Mm, yeah, these are practical scenarios, like say like forms, SharePoint storage, Power Automate. These are like three key factors which we can use for any manual process handling. Uh, and the structure, the flow that I explained, I've just like broken down into smaller pieces on a generic way, which helps any other people from different departments to understand. Basically, we capture the data, like say through like SharePoint or any source. It can be a form or any particular thing, and then we process it using a Power Automate or like any automation workflow, and then the storage and logics, and last we analyze the data. The key takeaways, yeah, like one is like this is more simpler and faster, and being low code, it gives access to any like manager level or a little bit of tech, anyone with a computational knowledge to design one, and it's quite pretty much that much easier. And the yeah, before doing this, the major questions that any organization ask is like not how to use it, but why to use it. uh, the question why to use it is uh, where exactly like that's where most of the organizations fail in utilizing the resources, because even and when we take the usage of AI, without understanding why exactly we need, where exactly and why exactly we need this particular feature, there is no point in utilizing it just because everyone are using. And yeah, when in terms of this adoption, what like these are the key factors we need: awareness, education, enablement, and measurement. uh, Awareness is basically to like through demos or like through like success stories, and also like helping them to understand, okay, these are the tools that you already have. And education is providing basic training on how exactly we can use it, and what are all the like advantages and how exactly we can improve efficiency. Enablement is to encouraging them like with lot more support. Mm, and obviously measuring the metrics and where we are is key factor. And the last would be like the governance. So yes, I think recently we had a talk, like there was one startup where the Reddit AI agent just deleted the entire database of the organization. I think some of you might have heard the news. It just happened very recently. So basically, if it's going to be, it's obviously not going to be only the organization's fault or somebody who have built it. It's something that is out of our control at this point of time. So incidents like this definitely reminds us to make sure the governance and the data loss prevention, all these are being like more focused, because if speed is the concern, without like having safety on the data, if data is going to get lost but still you got a lot more speed, there's no point in using it. The main factor that we use a lot of technologies and improvements is to make our life simpler and product more productive, to focus on other things. So yeah, so data governance, when it comes, it's always better to have like dev test and prod environments, and it's always have to have a backups and policies that controls the sensitive data. And monitoring, if it's going to be like an autonomous, there's always monitoring plays a key role to understand the performance and the utilization, how exactly people use it. And yeah, these are the key areas. Basically like this is just for the Power BI governance framework, where we have the environmental strategy, data policy, like shared resources and standards. And following all these things is definitely going to improve a lot more productivity of any organization. And yep, uh, this is it from my end for today's session.
Oh, thank you so much. Let's give him a round of applause. That was awesome. Thank you so much, Srinivas, for coming around today and sharing that knowledge with us. Because I think what some of the things I really got from that session is, how important the stuff we do is. A lot of organizations, they have a lot of processes that are not optimized, and that's why when we talk with a lot of passion, because we know what the platform, we know how the kind of solutions we can put together for them. So thank you for bringing this real world scenario and how it can actually be solved and optimized using the Power Platform. So thank you so much for that.
Yep.
So I saw a question coming, though it's more like a general question, asking about, training sessions, like a comprehensive training session for Power Apps, maybe like a boot camp or a comprehensive course. So just on the call, if you have some resources here, you can put it in the chat. If you have some resources on some good courses, you can put it in the chat. And personally, I also deliver training to some people. So if you want to talk to me about that, you can do that, and we'll have some conversation on that. But yeah, that was really awesome. So I'm going to share my screen now. Thank you so much, everyone who has joined from the beginning, who has joined during the session, and who have still stayed up to this point. You guys are the real MVPs. So thank you so much. Let me make sure I'm sharing the right thing. So I'm going to do that again. And okay, yeah. So that was an awesome session. So we're going to start rounding up now. This is our first time of putting this together. I think after I speak for a bit, Heather will come in and do her magic too. But basically, we love your feedback. If you have any feedback, we really want to get better at this. This is our first time, as we've said. I want to get better at this. So there is a link in the chat, yes, and you can also scan the QR code that is being shared on your screen. So give us some feedback. How did you enjoy the sessions? How did they impact you? And how can we connect from here? So also you can put your LinkedIn profiles in the chat if you want us to connect on LinkedIn. So one of the importance of events like this or programs like this is for us to grow our network. So feel free to put your LinkedIn profile links in the chat and let's connect with each other. So Heather, over to you.
I almost forgot to unmute myself. So like Kay said, really, really pleased to have everybody here. We are going to take the feedback from today so that we can improve our next sessions. We've had several people offer to speak, so we will be organizing that and putting a cadence in that makes sense for everybody, so that we can get. It's just building this community down here. I'm really excited to see people from South Devon on the call, because it's hard sometimes for us to feel like we're part of the rest of the community, right? Because we're so far away. But obviously the user group is for everyone, and you don't have to live here to get the benefit from it. So yeah, I think that's all I have. I'll put my LinkedIn, or Kate can maybe put my LinkedIn in the chat for me. And always happy to connect with anybody. Again, like I said at the beginning of the call, I do run a Power Platform practice. So anytime you have questions about you want to hear the perspective of a practice lead, feel free to reach out to me. I'm happy to help with interviewing advice, CV advice, what kind of roles should I go for? Always willing to answer those questions. I saw Keith's comment. I saw Keith in Germany, and he gave me Scottish candy. That was amazing. So we love to have our Scottish friends join.
Anytime. Thank you.
So awesome. If there's not anything else, we'll give everybody your meeting back then. Kay, do you have anything else?
No, nothing else from me. Thank you so much, everyone. Hoping to see you next time.
Thanks, you guys, and thanks again to our wonderful speakers. It
Oh
was
yeah,
an amazing session.
yeah, we should have some group photo before we leave. So if you can
Oh,
turn
we
on your
almost got away
camera.
with it, you guys.
Yeah,
We almost got away with it.
we almost forgot
So
that.
close, but no escape.
I
Hi,
know,
Keith.
I
Yeah.
know. I thought,
So I
oh,
just
let's
turned
do it.
on together mode here, so we all
Okay,
look like we're in a hall. So let's
very
just
nice.
wait. So let's just give some people some more time. Anyone joining? So okay, yes, hi,
There's
thank you.
Sharon.
Hi,
Hi,
Thanks,
Sharon.
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 This is a really nice view, actually.
Yeah, is it good? I can't see it on mine. I don't know why.
So just a second, and I've got that one. I'll take one more. So let's smile.
Okay, we'll smile this time.
Okay, brilliant. Awesome. Yeah,
Perfect.
that's it.
Nice.
Thank you so much, everyone. We'll give you some time back. Have a
Thank you,
great
everyone.
evening. All
Thanks,
right.
Thanks,
everyone. That was
Take care.
brilliant.
everybody.
Cheers.
Have a good
Bye.
one.
Thanks. Take
Thanks.
care.